Hey guys, welcome. Today is April 15th. We're going to be looking at tech tips here at Technology Drop-In Thursday. I was in a session last week, so I wasn't able to do a session. I will give you some notes on the workshop that I took. It's a lot of automation using Power Automate Desktop. So basically, it's like a macro recorder. So you can get your software that's not built by Microsoft, so it's available just on your desktop, and you can program your computer to do all sorts of things. So add files and records and stuff into spreadsheets and all sorts of cool things. So there was no recording to share. I do have some learning materials. I will do something up when I have a moment, hopefully in the next week, and then share those files. So I mean, you're welcome to teach yourself. But yeah, very cool automation that we can do with the desktop. Unfortunately, it's only available on Windows, and as a Mac guy, I had to log into a Windows machine, so that was all sorts of fun. But and they're making improvements all the time. So really, when you get a chance to see it in action, it's just going to open your eyes of what we can do. All right, let me just do a quick screen share. Where's my screen share button? And we will get started. So I just want to make a review here of some of the upcoming sessions that we've got. So this is at mcewen.ca/make-me-tech-savvy. We have a Power Automate Fundamentals coming up. So these are done, this and the Power Apps is being offered by our Microsoft experts. So the guys from Microsoft are doing these sessions. So there's a Power Automate session and Power Apps. We're going to talk a little bit about some automation that I picked up from a different video, but you'll be able to see some cool stuff there. Two new things that just got added: Microsoft Planner and Microsoft ToDo, both again being from Microsoft experts. I recently put a YouTube video into the chat about using Planner. So Planner is ToDo for the groups. And one of the things that kind of like big revelation for me was I was trying to combine all this stuff with Planner into one element, so one plan or one piece of instance. But the cool thing is you can actually have more than one plan. So what I was trying to do is if I had 5 different projects, I was trying to put them all in one plan and try and categorize them and stuff. And then when I was watching this video, I went, wait a second, I can create a plan with all these different dates and who's and groups and stuff like that for each big project, rather than trying to put all the projects into one plan. So that was a big aha moment for me. So I talked a little bit about that, but yeah, you can create 5 plans, assign them to the same team, but each plan might be on a different project. So something to think about. So the guys will probably explore more on that. So on May 3rd and May 10th, if you're interested, just come in here and sign up for that. Really, those are some good stuff or skills to at least understand how it works. This is really cool. So Google has a product called Google Lens. You can get it on your mobile device. You can get it built into certain things. So what they're doing is they're taking Google Lens and basically it's like the camera. And what can you do with the camera once Google Lens is running? Well, I can take a picture and I can scan it and look for different things. So Google Lens on Android is a separate application. And you can look at QR codes. You could take a picture of an item and then, so let's say a cup, a mug there with a saying on it. You take a picture of it, it'll scan that, and then it'll go look for the price somewhere. So it'll actually go look through its shopping database and give you results on that. So for the Mac side, or sorry, for the iOS guys, we actually have to download an app called Google, just it. It's the Google app. And in it is the Google Lens is built in. What's really cool is they now have built this into photos. So what that means is one of the elements of photos is the ability to go in and grab text from an image. So I just uploaded these things a while ago. And I mean, when I upload my photos, this is also available on my iOS device. It's kind of neater, a little easier to use here. But I can go into here and I can say, I want to copy text from here. So I just click on this button. When you upload the photo, it might take a little time, but there's all the different things. So if I just grab the whole text, or maybe I only want this poster here. So I just grab that and then I select that and then I can copy it. It's pretty accurate. And I've got a couple other pictures here. Whoops, go backwards. There we go. This is a handwritten recipe that I got off. And again, it's actually pretty good. at picking up
I just have to
the
listen.
text there. What's that? Oh, I thought someone was asking a question. So that we got that showing up there as well. And then, whoops, that's not what I wanted. I want to go into here. And of course, here's just something I grabbed out of a book. And it does a pretty good job of as well. And if I want, I can break it down and go, okay, I'm going to take this stuff here first, copy that, paste it into a document. Then I'm going to grab this here. It's not exact, but it's pretty darn good if I wanted to break it down one at a time and stuff. So, and like I said, you could take a picture with your phone, it uploads to Google, Google does its magic, and then you can go in and look at it. With the Google Lens on your mobile device, there is these other features, so it will do like a price lookup, or here's a document, or here's if I have a plant, here's a great one. When I go hiking, sometimes I'll see a plant with berries on it. You can take a picture of it and it'll actually go, okay, I notice it's this plant, it's red. We know that you're in this area. So here are the different plants that it could be. And it'll actually give you a list of the different plants that you might be taking pictures of. So really, really cool technology. The AI is doing all sorts of fun stuff in that one. But this simple grab the text is available in Google Photos. So just upload it from your web browser and it'll do that. I'm going to skip this one here because it's just for the Mac. Share an email from two teams from Outlook. So I'm going to show this to you on the web-based. It's also available on the Windows and the Mac. And the link there will show you what it can do. But let's say I have this email that I want to share to either a team or a person through Microsoft Teams. So I can go into here, and there's a new choice here called Share to Teams. If you're using the desktop, the desktop app of Outlook, there'll be a little icon up the top there where you see all those other icons in it. It says Share to Team. And when you click on this, you basically just pick the team that you want this to go into, or in this case, I'm going to put it in a user. So this is my user 30, and it's just, whoops, that's 29, not the same, user 30, and it's going to throw that in. I could type in an extra message in here. So like, look at this, and then I'm going to hit and share it. So now I can easily forward that stuff off into the teams. Now I've showed you before in the past where I've actually got a automation set up that as something comes into that team, it automatically creates an instance, creates a entry into Planner. So there's that thing can work there. So when I see stuff like this is great because I have a team that I work with. I forward the stuff to them. It automatically takes whatever I've got. It gives me the ability to have a chat about it, but at the same time, it creates a task in our planner plan so that we can track that as well. And that should be available without having to download anything. It should be just right there. So you'll just find it in the message for the more actions here for each individual message. And of course, there's more information at the link there. So I was talking about automations. So let's talk about follow up on a team message. So I'm going to go over here into my user 30 here. Where's user 30? Here he is. So look at this. Here's the message. This is user 30. Here's that email that I sent. So it's now involved in our chat in here. But sometimes I'm going to have this conversation going on back and forth with myself and this user here. So let me just pull up the conversation between the two of us here. I'll bring my window over here and I go into my chat. Sometimes I get these messages come in and it's like, I got to remember to follow up on this. So here's an example. A message has come in. I need to follow up on it. I can try and create a to-do or something like that. But one thing we can do is use an automation. So Power Automate, which we've talked about in the past, if you go into Power Automate, there's one in there called follow up on a team message. Okay. So when I'm in whatever app, if I just go into my launcher here, I'm either going to find Power Automate here, or else I can just search for the whole list. But in there, when you get to home, search for follow up on team message. And there's all sorts of templates available that we can do. This is a handy one because now what's going to happen is I want to set a reminder for this particular message. It's going to show up in the 3 dots here. So I've gone into Automate, I've found it, I've created it. And once it's done under more actions, the first time it won't show up there because it's the first time I've used it since I launched the app. But the second time I go in, it's going to show up, follow up on this message. So whatever message I select here, that's what the message is that we're talking about. I'm going to follow up on this message. And there's this thing here, 3 hours tomorrow in a week. Now, this is the template. I'm sure there's a way to go in there and change that. I have no idea how, but usually I'm pretty good about, I just want it to show up in 20 minutes or an hour or whatever else. So I'll just, or tomorrow. Tomorrow's usually better. So I'll submit that. So what's happening is you'll notice that when I set this up, come back. This is Power Automate Action. So this is like the person or the account who's going to look after this. And what ends up happening is when that time shows up, there is a chat that appears called Power Automate. So Power Automate's like a person. It's a robot. So this is the robot. And then the robot gives me a message like this. So it says, hey, you know what? You wanted to follow up. Here's the message content. And when I click on this, it'll take me back to that original Teams message. So that's a really handy way to keep reminding yourself of things that come up. I mean, you're not going to do it like, for 100 different things. You'd have to find a different solution. But if it's just for the 1 or 2 items, like I want to be reminded of this tomorrow, I don't want, it's not in my email to follow up. This is a handy way to be able to do that. Okay, cool. I'm not going to go into it, but for the geeky, and I think I posted this in the chat, get an email when a column is changed in Microsoft List. There's a tutorial here. I mentioned there was I think there was a woman who did the video. This is her video. But basically, if you're using Microsoft List, if someone makes a change, it's going to send you an email. Now, in the chat, I put in 2 links in there. One to basically get notified using Teams as a notification instead of email. You could combine the 2, and instead of having an email, you could have it show up as a notification in Teams instead. But the whole idea is it's going to monitor your list, whatever that is. If someone makes a change to it, you're going to get notified by it. So that's that'll be a handy one. We talked about multiple plans in Planner for Teams, so don't need to talk about that anymore. And then finally, let me just, I'm just going to move this over here because I see there's a question showed up. Do I need to address that right now? Hang on a second. That's off topic. I don't think so. Okay, I'll come back to those questions. So locking down guests in Microsoft Teams. So this is something that a lot of people are doing and some of the people don't realize what's happening. So here's the scenario. I have a meeting. I've invited 2 people to come join my meeting. One person is someone at McEwen, another is a guest, so of my team or what have you. The other person is external, so they're going to come and join in. Now, as an external person, they also have a Microsoft account, so they already have access to Teams and stuff, just not within McEwen. But I can invite them in as a guest. The challenge is that the guest comes in, does a presentation, and then leaves. When that person leaves, the chat that we're all involved with for that team is still alive. So even though they've left, they are still receiving the notifications and whatever's going on in the chat. So some people were doing these meetings and it's like, oh, they were saying things and the other person's like, I can still see this, right? So I just wanted to show you what I've discovered so far to try and get around some of that. So I have 3 windows up here right now. I have this one here, which is my Trevor account. I have this one here, which is user 30. User 30 is part of McEwen University. And then I have Jazz here. So Jazz is a personal account, but Jazz's account is strictly, Jazz has got a Microsoft account, but they're not part of McEwen. So we have a meeting scheduled here. I'm just going to pull this meeting up here. Can I join that meeting without losing it? I might end up losing you guys, so I'm not going to do that. Give me 2 seconds to figure out in my head how I'm going to do this. I will open up yet another window to join this meeting. So give me a sec. That almost didn't work out well. So 2 seconds. Well, here's what I'm going to show you. Right now, if I was to go live with this, as soon as I'm chatting and this person leaves, the chat continues on. If you take a look at the 3 dots, there's a thing here called meeting options. Now, the meeting options can be set here. That can be set from the calendar. It doesn't matter. You can choose it before you set it. But what you want to do is take a look at all these things here. And usually, and it's not here because this is an old meeting, of course, Trevor, but there's a link here that says chat. When is the chat available? Can you enable it, disable it, or only allow it during the meeting? If I say only in the meeting, while that person's in the meeting, they see the chat. The moment that they leave, the chat disappears. So they can't see what's going on while the rest of us are still chatting and stuff like that. Now that's if someone's external to McEwen. Here, when I look at the test user 30, when that meeting is over, they're still part of McEwen, they're still part of the chat. They can still see that chat if they happen to leave. But if I've set the meeting to, one of the things that I've set up as another choice here is look at who can bypass the lobby. If I go into here and say only me, that stops people from joining back into the meeting and able to see the chat. Okay, I know it's really confusing. But the idea behind this is that if you want to try and have a private chat and make sure people can't access it, what you need to do is make sure you turn on the setting that says only me, and then you as the organizer invite who you want in. While they're in the meeting, that's what that in meeting setting is set for. While we're in the meeting, the chat works fine. As soon as that meeting is over, the chat is no longer working. And for the external person, as soon as they leave that meeting, they lose access to the chat. In fact, you can see an old meeting that I've got here that says you can't send messages because you are not a member of the chat. So just something to keep in mind. You might have to play around with it a bit, but keep in mind that if you've invited a guest and they leave and you haven't done any changes and you start talking about them on chat, they're going to see all that. So that's an important thing to be aware of. Any questions on any of that stuff? Okay, that's pretty much it for today. Anyone? Oh, do they need permission to rejoin? So Dave, they've got the link, right? So it's going to either be in their calendar or you've sent them a link or something like that. So when they join, it depends on your settings, right? So here, so this is an older chat. Hang on a second, and here it is, here's user 30. So notice user 30 here can still put in messages. I can see this. So even though the message isn't running, the chat still works. Now, this person here actually is not going to see it unless I, as the organizer, go in and type something. I found that that's when that will show up. So even after they've left, they show up. But neither one of these guys can join that meeting again because I've set it so that only I can bypass the lobby. So everyone else has to be let in. And you can change that, like once everyone's in the meeting, you can go in and change that and say, okay, once everyone's here, from now on, if you leave, you're not coming back in. So those are the kind of things that will work to block them from going in. But you have to be careful because, like I said, this is an external person, this is an internal person. Yeah. They're both guests, but they have different ways that they're being treated by Microsoft.
Yeah, so I guess I was just asking, so if they leave and they want to come back, they have to have permission. With the internal person, they have to have permission to come back into the meeting.
Right, both of them, both of them would need permission because I've said it that only Trevor, the organizer. Yep.
That's what I was trying to get at with my question. Thanks, Trevor.
Sure, no problem. Anyone else got any other questions of anything?
Looks like Randy has one. He said something about Mac Outlook.
Could you go back to the Mac Outlook topic? What would you like to talk about, Randy?
You skipped over the calendar pop-out in Outlook for Mac.
Oh, yeah, I did skip over it.
I just wondered if you wanted to go back to that.
Sure. This is just on the new version for the Mac. There's this little pop-out window here. That's, as far as I know, that's fairly recent. So, and I haven't seen the document anywhere, but so that gives you a functionality that was available on Windows for the longest time, and it's available in the web. So if I go into my email or wherever else, I can still pull this out and have the calendar here. I can still treat it as a calendar. I'm not going to show my emails because there's a bunch of garbage in there, but the emails could be off to the side there. I can click on here and still create events and stuff like that. It just gives me a way of having that data show up there. That's all that was.
Oh, okay. So a mini calendar while you're doing other Outlook tasks.
Correct.
Okay, got it.
Even though you got the mini calendar here, this actually is more your agenda.
Yeah.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah, and
Randy,
you can actually.
Randy, on the Mac, that's it says it's under the, if there's a little button, the upper right-hand corner says New Outlook. And so if you click on that, it usually brings that up.
Yeah, I've been using the new one for a while, but I
Yeah.
hadn't noticed that extra little icon up there.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
only appeared in the last week. Even
Okay.
I mean,
Oh,
yeah, I've been
okay.
also using the new one, but all right.
All right.
Anybody else?
I just had that one question. I think Jess answered. I've got everything set for black background, etc. When you guys get a message like email or Teams, does this show up as black on your machine, or is it just your specific configurations?
I'm not sure what you mean by black background.
Well, I've just got it set to everything to black.
Oh, so your video background.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Video, email, Teams.
You mean the
dark
mode.
The dark mode. Yeah.
Oh, that's totally different. Okay, so now try the question again. I have the right concept in my
Yeah.
head.
No, just okay. Like, does it show up as a dark mode for you, or is it specific to or?
Oh, it's you.
Just me.
It's
okay.
you. Yeah, it's your settings.
Perfect. That's good.
Yeah.
But I find all your emails a little dark, Dave.
Yeah, Geez, I left myself open for that one. Dead shot, Randy. Keep taking them, buddy, while they're free.
Well, fair turnaround, because the last time we got together, Randy left himself open and you took that shot pretty quick. So
I know.
Some sad day, one of us will retire, and then we won't be able to play this game anymore.
That's right.
Troy says on the PC, I open Outlook twice, one for email, one for calendar. Actually, you don't have to do that. If you go under View, I think it is, in Windows, it would take me forever to bring that up. But there is a way that you can display the, I think it's called the To-Do pane. If you look under View, it's the To-Do pane, and you can do that. And it will put in on Windows, it'll put in the calendar or the to-dos or both. So you can actually have that set up already. Hate To-Do pane. What? Oh, pain came out as painful. Threw me off. Yeah, okay. Well, I can't help that, but it's there. Victoria, you have a question. What can I do for you?
Yes, I have a kind of random SharePoint question, if that's okay.
Sure, we'll give it a shot.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to link my Adobe Acrobat so that I can save PDFs to SharePoint like right away. And I don't know if I need an IT ticket for that because I'm trying to add an account and then link the SharePoint site. Yeah,
I don't think we've got the connector set up for that yet.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it's
okay.
Because right now the only thing that we're supporting. So hang on, let's back up for a second. So you're talking as a staff member, not as a student, correct?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So you can sync. So you know how to use the desktop sync on the folder, right?
Yeah, I have that, but sometimes like our syncing was a little slow, so I just was trying to avoid that. But
yeah, we don't have any plugins that work directly in there, so you would have to do that, pull it in there. There isn't. I mean, Microsoft came out with a new tool for the syncing back in February. I don't know if it's still slow. Before that, we actually recommended download it to your desktop and then upload it through the browser, kind of thing. But obviously, with Adobe, you're trying to work with the file. Well, it's still a working file. So you're still going to need to use the desktop syncing. But
okay.
Yeah. Personally, and I don't know how big the files are, but I would just do the file and on my desktop, and then when I'm done, I would upload it to SharePoint.
Yeah, that's what I've been
through
doing,
the browser,
like dragging it or whatever. So.
Yeah, it's much faster. It's not connected, but I mean, at least it's you back it up whenever you need to.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Sorry. Any other questions? All right. I'm going to stop the recording, and then if anyone has anything else they want to chat about, we can. I said stop recording.